Um, Again, my name is Candice Faber. I want to welcome everyone who's watching now, as those who will be watching in a few moments, to the fourth of our 5 sessions this year for Impact on Air. The goal of this project is to discover, highlight, and connect social entrepreneurs from across the Impact Hub network. We're very excited today to feature 3 companies around the world that are doing precisely the kind of work that we think of as social entrepreneurs, efforts that make the world a better place while also creating viable business models. We're expecting to see people from Barcelona, Berlin, Boulder, Dubai, Rotterdam, Seattle, Salt Lake City, Westminster, and probably a couple others that I've forgotten. So if you are joining us, we're very excited to have you. Hopefully you found the new event page. Feel free to send us questions there or via Twitter at any time throughout the call. For now, I'm going to turn it over to Scott Kennedy, who came to us from Amsterdam but is joining us today, I believe, from San Francisco. Good morning, Scott.
Hi. Thanks a lot, Candice, for having me. And yeah, I'm a huge Impact Hub fan, and I may be the only one who has been at 4 Impact Hubs in the last 4 months. I was at the San Francisco Hub, then I went up to the Seattle Impact Hub for a couple of weeks. Spent about 3 months at the Amsterdam Impact Hub, and then I was down in Australia at their hub. And right now I'm in Maine, which is beautiful. So I'm back in the States, and I'll be back in San Francisco in a week. OpenLabel is, the idea is pretty simple. The implementation, turns out, is not so simple, so we've been working on it for over 2 years now. But the idea is that we spend billions of dollars each year buying all kinds of products like food and shampoo and clothes and toys, but we really don't know anything about what we're buying. We don't know where it's from or what the company does with the profits or how they treat workers. And we also don't know what our friends might think about it or if some organization has anything to say about it. This data is all out there, so there are tons of websites and blogs and mobile apps and news articles, but the information is sort of buried across all of these. And all of these sources are growing very much in popularity, so that's great. People are really starting to wake up a bit, and they're starting to demand to know more about the things that they buy because they recognize that this has a huge impact. But we now really need a super easy, centralized place where all this data can instantly be shared. So that's essentially why we created OpenLabel. It's a crowd-powered platform. It's a website and a mobile app where anybody can just instantly contribute their comment and their knowledge just by scanning a product with their mobile phone. So the way it works is that you grab a product like a soda or anything that's in front of you, and we've indexed like over 10 million products now, and you just scan with your phone the little barcode and immediately attach a label, we call it a label, right on that product. So it's almost like sticking a Post-it note on the product. And the next time anyone in the world scans that same product, they will see what you said about it along with all the others. And the community is able to vote up or vote down all of the various labels, and the users can choose to follow the people or the sources that they trust. And they can also filter everything based on their own interests. So that's essentially the platform. It's not so much about deals and coupons, and it wasn't developed by a brand or a marketing firm like a lot of these other ones. We are about transparency. We're about radical transparency. We want to let people help each other make smarter, more responsible decisions. And I think one of the reasons why we're such a good fit for Impact Hub is that we also want to help all these amazing organizations with their missions. So maybe not so much the 2 that we heard from today, but there are a lot of people who have causes that are directly or indirectly related to buying or not buying various products. And we want to help them reach millions of consumers with that information right at that critical point when they need that information. Where we're at right now is we're in a private beta, but anybody watching right now can use my own invite code. So we have an invite code. And if you just want to poke around a little bit and let me know, I'm big on honest criticism, so the good and the bad and the ugly. And right now, we could just go to the product and I'll show you how it works. The app should be in the store in a couple months, and I've got some screenshots of that. And the website is currently up and running. So here's the app.
I'll let you know, Scott, you want to, when you click screen share and then click the specific window that you want us to look at.
Oh, I see. It's just
so
window
we don't get
by
this
window.
echo effect. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know how much detail you can see, but the idea is that the app launches, we give you a tutorial, and then it goes right into this screen that shows you, sort of like Facebook, what everyone is posting. And you can look at the latest labels that are coming in, and it's organized by product and then by whatever the comment was. And you can look at the featured labels, you can look at your own personal news feed, which is going to be just the organizations and friends that you're following. So in a way, it's almost like a Facebook for product, a Twitter for products. A lot of people have called it a Yelp for products, because Yelp obviously is a successful public company where that crowdsourcing allows for anyone to comment about any local business. So we're sort of doing that for products. And you would scan the barcode, any barcode, and then immediately a window would pop up giving you information about that product and would allow you to comment. And then you can attach your own label. And at the very end here, there's a profile that allows you to track who you're following and how many followers you have and how many labels you've created, how many scans and products you've created. So now I'll share with you the website, and that is right here. Let's see how we do this. We log in with Facebook, Twitter, or anything else. And once you're in, again, you see this same experience. You can read some of the labels and see some of the products that people are scanning and what they're saying about it. You can vote that up or vote it down if you think it's useful or if you think it's stupid. You can flag it if it's offensive to you. You can share it with other people on social networks. You can tweet it. You can add it to other products. And then everyone has their own complete profile here where they can track all the labels they've left. They can see all the various stars they've earned, and they can see all of their followers. So the idea is just to really create this community that allows for everyone to very easily comment about products. And one of the things we're doing now is we're hooking up to APIs, and we're making deals with a lot of nonprofits to make sure that fair trade certification, for example, Greenpeace, some of the larger nonprofit organizations, Oxfam, are able to say what they want to say about a product, and it gets right to the user with a quick scan.
Yeah. Great.
So that's basically it. Yeah. And I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Scott. It's really exciting not just to hear about your product, but to see it. I think we had a conversation about this before, but there are a lot of companies and organizations working in this space to basically help kind of trigger social change through more conscious consumption. And I, for one, am really excited to see that you've developed an app that's so beautiful and simple and user-centric. So huge congratulations on that. I'm already seeing that we're getting some feedback from other hubs around the world who are curious in figuring out how they can support you. I am curious just because you brought up Yelp, which, as you know, this year turned a profit for the first time. So really curious to hear, if you don't mind sharing a little bit more about the business model and how you see OpenLabel being sustainable over time.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mentioned earlier that we're building this using some of the best practices of several other very large platforms like Yelp and Twitter and Facebook, and adapting it to products. So in that sense, we can also borrow a lot of their proven revenue models, which is great. And I feel like it's even better than that because we're in the mobile commerce space very specifically. So we deal directly with products and brands, locations, and consumer sentiments. So there are a lot of places for us to generate revenue. We gather and analyze data about the products that people are scanning and where they're scanning it and how they feel about it and what organizations that they're following. All of this data is aggregated. We pull the names off of all of it, so it's all anonymous. And the primary revenue source in the beginning is going to be a monthly data subscription. And that's currently used by a lot of folks in the big data space. Basically, brands and retailers can buy a subscription to a dashboard that offers very detailed, anonymous, aggregated data and analytics on any product or brand or category. And the cool thing about selling anonymous data is that the nonprofit partners we work with actually really like that, because when you share your thoughts on a blog or on Facebook somewhere, you don't know if that sentiment is reaching anyone who could potentially address your concerns. And by making this the central standard way to discuss products, your voice joins in with other voices, and you can actually have an impact. And it's sort of how like Change.org was able to gather petition signatures from many people, put them in a centralized place. The other revenue possibilities are Reddit, for example, sells a lot of sponsored posts. Tumblr calls it a highlighted post. But again, these are highly targeted opportunities to have sort of a clearly marked little message. You could have it in an alternative section when you scan something. You know, if you feel like hitting a tab, there could be an alternatives or something. And as long as we mark that as promoted, we don't have a problem with that. And then finally, we can even white label the app, offering private enterprise versions that gather data for other people. So we've looked at a lot of different models, and primarily our investors are less concerned about that, and they're more focused on us getting engagement and us getting a lot of users to start really contributing to this, to build it up in kind of a Wikipedia way.
Great. Ruby, I'm sure you have some awesome, very targeted questions for Scott and OpenLabel, so I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you, Scott. I don't know if I met you when you were in Seattle, but when you're back, I definitely want to talk with you.
Great.
Very, very interesting concept and product. A couple of questions that I have for you. Number one is that the data play of companies like yours generally tend to end up going to what I call the big box market retail space. I'm encouraged that you are talking about engagement of the nonprofit sector and the smaller marketplace. What's your intention of actually doing some direct marketing towards that small marketplace? So, you know, I'm thinking about how can they actually take advantage of the enormous amounts of data that you're going to end up generating.
Yeah. Well, what's really cool about this is that very early on, a lot of people recognize that there's so much information out there that people need to look towards someone to help them purchase a product. And so, for example, there's a mom we talked to who was very much involved in safety, baby foods and strollers and all sorts of things like this, and couldn't find good data about it. So she ended up creating her own little boutique website where she goes through all these products and does all of this tremendous work trying to compare and explain what's good and what's bad. And we want to leverage off of these millions of points of light of all these people who really care about a specific topic. There's a GMO labeling people, there's lead in toys, there are all these millions of little topics. For example, True Goods is one that we're working with. She might say a little something about a product, and then we'll have a link to her store, and she might actually get money. It's another revenue source for us, potentially, to get an affiliate. But what we can do is we can bring business and bring attention to the smaller points of data, as well as the larger nonprofits. So we're able to weight this data.
Great. Scott, thank you so much.
Really?
Sorry. Ruby, I'll let you.
Are we out of time?
We're not necessarily out of time, though. People have been kind of, I think, waiting for a while for us to start, so I don't want to go too much longer. But I do want to take some questions from our viewers. We've got quite a few people who are excited, actually, about all three of your enterprises. Doesn't surprise me. You know, I think this session and hearing from all of you guys has been totally worth the technical glitches. But Scott, just, you know, we'll connect after this, but we've got a lot of people on Twitter who are curious about how they can support you, how they can download OpenLabel soon. One really good question here from Thomas Majors. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. He's curious how you integrate products that don't have labels. So, for example, a coffee at Starbucks or something that you might buy online. Would love to hear your answer to that.
Yeah, that's an incredible space, and we're sort of see ourselves moving into the Internet of Things. There's a lot of exciting technologies like Beacon in store. There are RFID tags. There is a lot of image recognition that's going on. Google and Amazon are both doing a lot of that. So it's an exciting space, and there's definitely opportunity for people to be able to tell what it is you're commenting about. We can move outside of barcodes. We just felt like barcodes, there's already 500 billion products out there with barcodes. So that's sort of the low-hanging fruit that we're going to start with, because that's the easiest way for us to all know what we're talking about, is scanning that barcode. But absolutely very exciting to start moving into some of these image recognition or location or other chip embed technologies.
Yeah. Great. Thank you so much for that answer. I'm sure, as with all three of you guys, I'm sure you're going to have a lot of interesting questions from people after this call as well. So, Ruby, your turn.
Okay. Scott, what you're doing with OpenLabel, it's just amazing. So I want all three of you to continue to stay focused. Use the resource of the hubs around the world. Scott, it was great how you talked about actually visiting the various hubs around the world. There are resources that you can all call on and experts that are in these locations. And so I just want to give all of you a thumbs up, and I'm here for you as well, and thanks so much for participating.
Yeah, I echo that. Scott, I'm going to let you make your closing remarks first, and then Kat will go to you, and then Christina and the team in Vienna.
As far as everyone else participating, I just wanted to thank you all and let you know that if you want to help us, we'll be out publicly in a couple of months, but until then you can just go to the website, make sure that we have your email so that we can keep you posted when everything's ready, and then when it comes out, we just need everyone to share it, and specifically any nonprofits that you know of who have information about products, who rate products, who certify products, and they want to get that information out to more people, and they want to generate potentially more followers to their cause. Definitely send them my way as well.
Great. Thank you, Scott. I want to just say thank you on behalf of Google, VentureScale, and Impact Hub Seattle, which are hosting this series, to all of you for participating. Just first of all, it's really incredibly inspiring to be part of this community and to learn about the really valuable work you're doing to make the world more fair, more just, and more opportunity rich for everyone. And also to say thank you to our viewers and those of you who've been following this. I know we had a crazy session this time, but I hope you agree with me that it was totally worth it. There's so much happening across the Impact Hub network and so many opportunities for us to help each other. So we hope you'll stay in touch with us on Twitter at Impact on Air, on the web at impactonair.com, and of course tune in 2 weeks from now for our final session on innovations and health. With that, I'll let everyone move on with their day, but thank you again so much for joining us, and we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you, Candice and Josh.